Good evening. How everyone doing today? God is good and God is good all the time. My name is Irma J. Spirit Divine. I'm here to give you a little shout news on today. First I'm gonna put on my eyes so I can see. Um, First I have Anthony Davis. He was 15 years old when he first went to prison, and now he is out. He served like 41 years in prison. So he was sentenced to life in prison as 15-year-old boy. South Florida man freed last week at age 55. So that's a long time he was in there. Since he was 15 years old, he was just a boy, a teenager. So Anthony Davis was 15 years old when he was sentenced to life. Now he was a teenager, and he served 41 years. So now he free. He is getting a second chance of life. So he was sentenced as an adult. You know, to life in prison. So he was 15 years old boy and grew up to be a man in prison. So now he have a second chance of life. So now Anthony is free. He's 55 years old. He walked out as a free man, as a new person also, because he have a different mindset. So the first thing, on his list when he got out was a jump in the pool. That was his first thing, yeah, he wanted to jump in the pool. And then his second thing on the list, he wanted to eat a big old breakfast, big old breakfast. So Anthony spent 41 years, behind bars, on robbery in South Florida. But his nickname back then was Swamp Willie, you know. So Anthony knows. He know he's not an angel. And we all is not no angels. The perfect person was on this earth was Jesus. So no one cannot judge no one because we all is not no angels. So he know his wrongdoing, and he said he's not no angel. But the one thing he can confirm is that he did not kill no one. So he said he know he did something wrong. He's not no angel. But he was 15 years old. He said he has not killed no one. He served 41 years in prison. And he made a mistake. So that's the first step when you know you made a mistake. And he was a kid. So he come out as an adult. So literally a kid that sent to Florida State Prison, and he stated it was real tough. That's why he going down the line. He wants to talk to teenagers. This is real. That is real. What he experienced in there. He want to talk to these teenagers and let them know. Don't waste your time out here in the street. Live your life the best way you can. Don't try to take no shortcuts. Because up in there where he was at, he said it was real. It was hard. It was tough. So real tough. He had no mom. He had no daddy. He was just a boy. So he was around adults, rapists, robbers. He was around all those adult people when he just was a boy, 15 years old. you know. So he had to make it by himself. He had nobody to lean on. Nobody to call. You used to your mom. You're a boy. You still a child, so you used to your mom. But he was a boy. He had to raise himself. He had to do it for himself. So in 2010, the United States Supreme Court, ruled life sentence, without parole. And that can be scary for a child you know, at that age, experience all these difficulties, for juvenile who did not commit homicide, and that's why he kept on saying he did not kill no one, for him to have that type of kind of sentence, you know, um, and that's what I'm saying. He was paroled, for no for life sentence, you know, for homicide. I mean, for not committing homicide, to serve that kind of sentence. And that's why he kept on saying, I know I made a mistake. I know I did wrong. He said, but the main thing I can confess that I did not kill no one. So, just in other words, to say to have that kind of sentence. So now Anthony he was eligible for release. Now he's free. He like a man. He like the man that he become. He like the man that he become. He said that he's a good man. And he ready to take on life. And he said he determined to do it the right way this time. So he wants to make up for lost time. He stopped home. Cause you remember, both of his parents passed away while he was in there. He regret that he messed his life up, that he would waste his life up in prison, that he wasn't able to be there with his mom and dad. This is a child, so he was in there. He served so much hard time, and then to come home that your mama and your daddy is gone. But he went home, and the family took him to Disney World, and I think that was great. They show him so much love, they show him so much love, So Anthony is riding a bike again. Last time he probably rode a bike, he was 15 years old. So now he learning how about the technology. We got all this new stuff now. Small phones and all that. He said he didn't know how to turn that on. He go to the men restroom, his hand like this there, like, where's the water? Everything is new since he came out. So he got to try to kind of like try to deal with life, this new life that he not gonna jump into, you know. When he went to prison at 15 years old, and he had all this stuff going on. Now you got a smartphone. Now you just, you go to the bathroom, you just do your hand like this here, you waiting on the wall, you gotta push it under. There's all kind of ways, technology that they have now that he got to get a grab to. So while Anthony was in prison, he realized how he took life for granted. You know, he had to stand still in life to realize, that that he took life for granted. And he in prison. That's why he said he want to talk to a lot of teenagers. Don't waste your life, because being in prison, he done waste half of his life in prison. So he don't want nobody else to go through what he went through. So also he taught himself how to read and write. Because remember, he was 15 years old when he went to jail. So I don't know how far gone he was in school, or if he was in school, but he said he taught himself how to read and write. So pretty much he pretty much he raised himself in there. You remember, like he said, he like, I had no mama. He cried for mama. There was no mama and dad. So that can be hard breaking for a child in with some walls between him and no mama to call. So Anthony also lost both of his parents. He said that was the biggest regret, because he wasn't there for them before they passed. You know, he, I know anybody, or wanted to be with their mom, especially to know that you're not there when they pass away. That can be heartbreaking. So Anthony he said he did wrong. He did wrong things. He ended up in the wrong place. He did wrong things. He ended up in the wrong place. But he don't know. But he regret it all. He said he regretted it all. All his life, half of his life was in prison. But now he walked the path that God set for him. And walking with God is the right path for him to go. He's stepping in the right direction. You know, and so he wants to start a new path. To be a mediator, to troubled teens. To he want to let them know, what's going on here in prison is real. It's real, and that you don't want to be there to deal with that tough life. You're gonna be dealing with rapists, and you're gonna be dealing with all kind of stuff. So he don't want them to end up, like he did. Wasted half of his life up in prison. He want to talk to them. Don't take life for granted. Live your life. Get your real job. Do not try to take shortcuts. So he gonna let them know shortcuts will lead you right where he was at. Get a real job. Finish school. Finish school and get a real job. Because trying to do things a shortcut, it's the wrong way. You'll end up in jail. And eventually, if you keep on getting away with, eventually you will get caught. So he gonna talk to them. He gonna talk to them and let them know, stay on the right path. Don't take life for granted. Go to finish school, and get, I know when I was in school, they had them little summer jobs for us, for like 3 years when I was in school. You apply with the school, and you have your little summer job. Try to, I don't know if they still have it these days. I've been out of school for so long, but try to find a little summer job. You got this fast food, see if you can work in the summertime. That'd be better than you being out in the street. And then sometimes they have the summer camp. I used to take my kids to the summer camp. I know me. I went to the summer camp. So they have plenty of things that teenagers can do in the summertime besides running the street and doing wrong things, because you could do wrong things and end up in the wrong place. So he free, and he trying to adjust. you know and once a teenager, now a man, finding the simple pleasure in life. So now he's trying to find his way. But he said, you got God in his life. That's the right path that you're starting on. All you got to do is get your Bible now and start reading that word. So he wants to get his first driving license. Because I don't even know if he was driving then, but he was 15 years old. So now he wants to get his driving license. He's trying to get his life back on track. So he have a second chance of life, and he said he determined to do it the right way this time. So Auntie said this time around he would be determined to get it right. Finding the simple pleasure of life. Finding a full time, real job. So he said before then he was like cutting grass, putting down trimming trees or something he was doing, dealing with the landscaping. But he said it was part time. But he said this time he wants to get a real job. He want to get driving license. So he's starting, yeah, a second chance of life and starting all over again. So now we see that Anthony was 15 years old, a teenager, you know, 41 years he was in prison, of his life. That's half of his life. So he know he made a mistake, but he did not kill no one. That he know angels. And I say we all is no angels and cannot judge no one else. So now he have a second chance of life, that he determined to get it right this time. He also want to talk to teenagers, so they can get their life right, to stay on the right path. Don't take life for granted. He took life for granted, and he ended up in the wrong place. So he also wants to talk to teenagers, because he don't want them to end up, like he did. That was real stuff, real tough stuff he said he had to deal with, by him being a boy and he among adults. People's in there for raping and killing people and all this kind of stuff, and he's just a boy among all that stuff he said. So it's good that he on the right path with God. And he said he don't want to never take life for granted, and he wants to talk to other teenagers. Do not take life for granted. Live your life to fullest and get a real job, because trying to do the shortcut way, you will end up in the wrong place. Now he wants to talk to all the trouble teens, you know, who is on the wrong path. So Anthony Davis, he is free. And now he is a testimony, to all teenagers. So he is free. And he have a second chance of life, and he is a testimony, to talk to all teenagers. He a testimony, to all teenagers. Let them know, live your life. Live your life the honest way. So not go out there and try to do shortcuts. He said in the main thing that he knows that he did wrong, end up in the wrong place. He did wrong things. He know he made a mistake, and he knows he not an angel. But he said one thing: he did not kill no one. So he felt like he didn't deserve that sentence to be in there the 41 years from doing doing the little stuff that he did. He deserved to get punished, but not that kind of punish as a child. Unless he would have killed someone. You kill someone, beat someone down, then you deserve to have punishment. But his punishment, He said he did not really, and so many words, he did not deserve to have that kind of sentence at 15 years old. So I'm glad he is free. I'm glad he have a second chance of life, and I'm glad that he's on the right path. So now I have some news from wwl Channel 4 News. Tropical update, Hurricane Earl. So Hurricane Earl is just it just continue on to grow larger, but not strengthening as yet, to do landfall. So NAC latest forecast track the and show Earl is staying at a category 2. So you can see Earl is at a category 2. So the hurricane through Saturday, then eventually just padding into a low pressure next week. So models are picking up on another central, Atlantic tropical, wave are possible develop in the coming um days, but it's also is too should remain out to sea. So although the satellite out to the sea, all stones are well displaced, from the center, so it continue on struggling. So all although satellite is confirming all stones are well displaced from the center, so it is continue to struggle. So it really is not no threat yet. It haven't developed into a landfall for a landfall. So far the season remained below average, and let hope that continue. You know, so this is the update on the news. I will come with you later on with Danielle on news. Now, where Earl is still growing stronger, but it's still not developing as for a landfall. But N NAC is still monitoring and looking into it. So we talk about this. We talk about this 15-year-old boy was sentenced, for life. So he was in there for 41 years, but he had a chance to be released. So he didn't serve life. He wound up, was able to be released. So he was a boy then, and now he is a grown man. He 55 years old. He have a chance for second life again, and he said he will never make that mistake again. He said he wants to. He left his life the honest way. He said he's a good man, and he said he will not make that mistake again. So he is a free man, and he willing. He have a second chance of life. And the first thing he did when he came home, he was in a hotel. He jumped in a pool. So he seemed like a good person, and he ready to live life the best way he can, and he determined to get it right this time. And he's still heartbreaking. Both his he come home, both his parents is depart. But luckily he have a big family. Brothers and sisters. And they show him so much love. Show him so much love, welcome him home. And so he trying to get his life back together. He got his getting his driving license. He gonna be getting a job. So he looking forward for the real world. He had to get him a smartphone because he was having trouble trying to work the smartphone. But he gonna get it together though. He went in and come out. They got all this new technology. He go to the bathroom. He holding his hand out, waiting on the water to come out. But he gonna get it together. He gonna get it together. There's a lot of new stuff that came out since then with this corona stuff, so that was due to corona, all this electronic stuff. You did, everything is censored, move away from it work, move this way it work, but he gonna get it together. And we talk about the news. We talk about the news, Hurricane Earl. Hurricane Earl is growing larger, but it's still not a development for a landfall. It's strengthened, but it's not strengthened as yet. But NHC is still looking into, there's experts, and they're gonna always keep a monitor on the stone. So that's all the show news I have for you today. So y'all have a blessed day, and I see y'all on the next video.